You ever have one of those days where you can literally feel history changing beneath your knees? That's what hit me the second my legs hit that courthouse marble, cold enough to send a message straight up my spine. I'm telling you, nobody ever forgets the moment they're forced to kneel in front of a judge, not when that gavel slams down and the air in the room just freezes. And here's the real kicker. The only thing colder than that floor was the look in Judge Whitmore's eyes as he sneered. You will kneel until you learn respect. You know what I mean? That was the moment I realized they weren't just trying to punish me, they wanted to break me. Nobody in that courtroom knew I had my secret weapon, not some miracle lawyer or long-lost family friend bursting in to save the day, but the bracelet on my wrist, recording every word, every threat, every moment they thought they could silence me. And halfway across town, my cousin Marcus, the kind of hacker you only read about, was already prepping for his own counterattack, fingers flying over a keyboard while the countdown ticked. 5 minutes. That's how long until everything they thought they buried would come roaring back to life. But hey, let me back up a sec, give you the lay of the land. My name's Jasmine Taylor. 16, not exactly blending in at Westridge Academy Place, is so white it practically glows in the dark, full of old money and new privilege, and kids who've never worried about anything but their Ivy League applications. My thing? Code. When I'm at a keyboard, the world makes sense zeros, and ones don't care about the color of your skin, at least until the people in charge step in and remind you otherwise. I got to Westridge on a scholarship after my parents died in a car crash, raised by my grandma Elaine, a nurse with hands twisted by arthritis, but a will stronger than any steel. She always said, excellence is your shield and sometimes your only weapon. That was my plan. Work hard, keep my head down, win the school hackathon with an algorithm that could save lives in traffic, and maybe, just maybe, punch my ticket to MIT. But privilege doesn't play fair. Tyler Whitmore, yeah, son of the judge, sauntered over to my workstation, smirking. Impressive work, Jasmine. Almost too impressive for someone like you. That's how it starts. That's always how it starts. Next thing I know, security guard are hauling me out, principal waving some printout. You've been accused of cheating, Jasmine. Your code matches a project from MIT. Doesn't matter that I could walk through every line, live in front of anyone. Doesn't matter that Tyler, the one who pointed the finger, could barely code his own password reset. The machine had already decided I was guilty, kicked out of the competition, my academic record in jeopardy, teachers looking at me sideways like I'd grown a second head. But you know what really set the dominoes falling? I stumbled into something a lot bigger: files hidden deep in the school's admin server, showing how minority scholarship funds were being siphoned away for legacy students. Not a bug, not a mistake, an operation. I started collecting evidence, thinking maybe if I showed the right people, something would actually change. Instead, the cops showed up. Officer Brandt and Delaney, you know the type, crew cuts, permanent frowns, dragged me out of the computer lab, slapped cuffs on me so hard they left bruises. And you want the twist? They found a flash drive in my bag that wasn't even mine, called it hacking tools, and suddenly I was facing adult felony charges at 16. Computer crimes, breaking and entering, all the works. That's how fast your life can flip when people in power decide you're inconvenient. In that holding cell, and let me tell you, the smell alone is enough to haunt you, I got my only lifeline. Diana Chun, civil rights attorney, walked in like she owned the place and demanded to see my records. When she caught the cops lying about my age, she went nuclear-threatened lawsuits, exposed their mistakes, forced them to release me. I thought maybe, just maybe, the system would work if you had someone smart enough, tough enough on your side. But Westridge is the kind of place where the power structure runs deeper than the water table. The Preservation Society sounds like some charity, right? Turns out it's a front for the families who've run this place for generations, keeping folks like me in line and folks like them in power. School, police, even the hospital, all connected. You want cinematic? The next week's played out like something between a thriller and a horror flick. Grandma's house got trashed, windows shattered, threats spray-painted on the walls. Anonymous messages popped up on my phone. Should have stayed on your knees. Your grandma looks frail. Shame if something happened. Real subtle, right? Marcus went dark after his place got raided. Diana's law license got suspended. Every step forward, they hit back twice as hard. People I thought were friends ghosted me. My future vanished, one college rejection email after another. But here's the thing about desperation, it finds you allies you never expected. My old comp sci teacher, Rodriguez, reached out, introduced me to the Digital Justice Collective. Journalists, nurses, even a real estate agent, all with their own stories about the society's grip on Westridge. Together, we built a case that reached back decades. Corrupt judges, cops, school officials, all playing their parts in the same dirty game. The final act? You guessed I had to go deeper than I ever wanted. Infiltrated the society's gala, wired up the place with Marcus's gadgets, got the proof, video, audio, documents, all of it. Just as I was getting out, Whitmore spotted me, recognized my eyes. The chase was on bullets, sirens, rain slicking the ground as I bolted through the night, blood on my shoulder but hard drives in my bag. When the police finally cornered us, Emma the journalist, and her medic friend, it was at an abandoned warehouse, the place already rigged to burn us out. SWAT, tear gas, and somewhere in the chaos, Diana and Marcus hacked the courthouse's system. While the building burned, every screen in Westridge lit up with the truth. Footage of Whitmore, Garrison, Stevens, the whole rotten lot plotting their crimes out loud. Yeah, they tried to kill us. Tried to erase everything. But the world was watching now. National news, feds, the whole country saw exactly who the real criminals were. Whitmore and his crew, hauled out in handcuffs, their faces on every screen in America. You think it's the end? Not even close. The story never ends clean. Grandma died. Not from old age, but from the poison they slipped into her hospital drip. Marcus barely survived his own beating. Some of our allies disappeared, but the Preservation Society fell. Congressional hearings, landmark reforms, the first black DA in county history, families welcomed back, the old order broken. Me? I got an MIT. Started a scholarship in my grandma's name. Still fighting, just with different tools, building systems that can't be gamed, code that exposes bias wherever it hides. Let me ask you, what would you have done if you were me? Fought harder or run for your life? And what systems in your town need exposing, need breaking before someone else gets crushed? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Call out what's wrong where you live, because the only thing that stops these cycles is people refusing to kneel, people who turn pain into power. And if you believe it's time for real justice, for truth louder than any gavel, share this story. Because what happened to me can happen anywhere, unless we all decide to stand up and change it. And if you want to see how deep these stories go, don't just scroll by, hit that subscribe, join the fight, and let's make sure that next time, the only thing breaking in a courtroom is the old corrupt order, not another kid's future.